So we're going to continue with Living the Law of One, and we're on Chapter 4 and Part 3. The changes in our energy flow are caused by our reactions to incoming catalysts. Each thought which we entertain potentially can change our energy body's coloration and its state of openness. Basically changes the vibration. Don't forget, colours attain to vibration. Okay, so red is a very low vibratory colour. Violet is a very high vibration colour. Okay, the colour of each of our energy centres varies in a couple of different ways. All the red ray energy centres, for instance, are red. However, the intensity of that colour may vary, as well as its clarity and its closeness to the true colour, which is the exact vibration of the red ray which came with us from the factory at birth. These qualities of the colours vary because of the intensity, clarity and accuracy of our thoughts and other energetic expenditures like actions and words. This true colour is also the vibration of the red ray of planet Earth and its energy. The closer our personal red ray vibration approaches the red ray vibration of first density, the more easily we can accept the Creator's energy as it comes into the energy body at the red ray. It is useful for the player to cultivate the connection between the human energy body and the planetary energy body, as well as the sameness of our Earth of physicality and the Earth whence we sprang. I'm glad that Carla's mentioning this, because the Earth planet itself, the energy body of the planet, also has chakras, 7 chakras, and they can be very badly distorted and depolarized or out of alignment or unbalanced by the way that humanity are acting. And the Earth has had a terrible time with humanity over the last 300 years in particular, as I've been shown, because of the war. And the Middle Ages were terrible. The war, and it's really the last 500 years, but the last 300 years we've been polluting the Earth as well, which has added to it. You see, even when it was wars, even when we weren't polluting the Earth and it was just wars, and we were slicing each other up with swords or bayonets or whatever, guess what? That was affecting the energy centers of the Earth, and it was unbalancing the Earth. This is why there's quite often volcanoes erupting and earthquakes, tsunamis. This is the Earth reacting to her host on the outer or the surface of the planet. We are the host of the Earth. We are the Earth's, our physical bodies are the Earth's children, really, and our energy bodies are very, very closely linked and tied and connected to the Earth's energy body. So we have an effect on the Earth. A rapid way that all of us can deepen the respect we have for ourselves as a human being of the tribe of humans on planet Earth is to allow ourselves to feel this electronic connection between our human bodies and the body of the Earth itself. A good way of doing this is the root system, connecting to Gaia with your root system coming out of the bottom of your spine or the bottom of your feet, and imagining them spiraling through the Earth and eventually wrapping around the very core, the very heart, the central sun of the Earth. Okay, the nuclei of the Earth. So picture in your mind the energy flowing up from the Earth, up the feet and legs and through the red ray center, on its way upwards through the energy body. Then picture internally and intentionally linking back into the planet by sending and answering thankful energy back down our legs into the Earth, creating energetic roots like a plant's. There you go, Carla saying it for me. When we habitually earth our energy bodies with this visualization, we will increase our sense of wellness and belongingness. We really do belong to Mother Earth. Our bodies are made of her material, and she, as the living entity of terror, Mother Earth, or Gaia, loves us unconditionally as her children. We can feel her love and strength as we root down into the Earth, linking with the Earth's red ray by visualization. Or I visualize the heart of this golden emanating ball, this heart of the Earth, and my roots wrapping around and connecting into the heart of the earth. And then I send Gaia love, and I feel Gaia's love coming up my roots into my energy body. It helps, it really does. Give it a try sometime. The red ray density is the density of the elements and the powers, as the Native Americans call them. The chemical elements and the four magical elements of powers of air, water, fire, and earth. These are also associated with the four directions of east, west, north, and south. This earthly density wide red ray connection with the red ray of our individual energy bodies is the source of powerful natural resources for the player, capital P. Our combined physical and energetic bodies are the point of connection for much inner work which we can do by feeling our oneness with the earth on which we live and asking for her sacred elements and powers to make us stronger. The awareness of this connection to the elements and powers also opens the way to magical work we may wish to undertake later in the game. We shall talk more of this in the third book of this series 103, The Inner Work. Knowing that we are a part of the great dance of life, we can better enter into it with a sense of creating style and grace in our movements as we dance. That the red ray chakra is basically a readout does not mean that it is easy to keep the red ray open. Indeed, a lot of us get stuck with blockages at red ray, either because of our feelings about sexuality or feelings about living on planet Earth. Sexuality and survival are the energies which the red ray center handles. Our most primal instincts reside in these chakras. In this chakra, we instinctually desire to procreate and preserve our species by red ray sexual congress. We instantly desire to survive. I choose to discuss sexuality first of these two types of red ray energy because in lab tests animals have repeatedly chosen to stimulate themselves sexually or take a substance like cocaine at the expense of eating, and as a result have suffered ill health or died. In 1990, a study of these effects of cocaine, the Canadian author stated, in one experiment, 3 monkeys were put in cages where they were allowed to press only one of 2 levers, one producing an infusion of cocaine, the other producing food pellets. Every 15 minutes. During the 8-day experiment, all 3 monkeys chose cocaine almost exclusively. Even on trials where they did not choose cocaine, the monkeys did not press the food lever. The animals lost weight and displayed strange, stereotypical behavior. In other experiments, monkeys and rats have self-administered cocaine over periods of several days until they died of convulsions. God, it says the footnotes here says Carla was not able to finish the series before her passing, sadly, and this book was never published. Talking about 103, The Inner Work. Yeah, sadly, I would have loved to have read that book. I really would. In studies where sexual stimulation was offered to lab animals as an option to eating, results were similar, with animals sickening and dying for the same reason, choosing the addicting substances instead of food. We can become addicted to sex just as we can become addicted to other powerful substances that change our brain chemistry. I think, if we're honest, many of us, if not all of us, at some point in our lives have had an addiction to sex. With, a slight, maybe a small percentage saying no, but I think if we're all honest, we've all had an addiction to either food, sex, or sex and food of some sort, whether that be junk food or whatever, a certain type of food. It's all addictions, and whether that's gambling or drugs. And when I say drugs, tobacco, alcohol, caffeine, sugar, these are all deadly drugs. So there's not many of us who haven't been a drug addict or a sex addict. We have all been at some point in our lives a drug addict or a sex addict or a food addict. Or we've had other damaging addictions that have destroyed our relationships and our family life. Like me, I was overworking. I was working 95-hour weeks. I was only just telling the story to a gentleman here, and I was working 95-hour weeks, and I did this until I broke my leg. That was the only thing that stopped me in my tracks, when I broke my ankle and contracted the 2 diseases that followed the broken ankle, the FND and the CRPS. if I hadn't have done this, if I hadn't have broken my ankle this, this badly and contracted these diseases, I probably still would have been doing what I was doing back then. I was working a full-time job as a chef, and I had a job on the side, which I won't discuss. But that was, and it wasn't good. I was working too much. I was working myself to death, and I was having nervous breakdowns, and I was having to compensate, that with drinking heavily. When I got back from work, it was the only way I could sleep, taking sleeping tablets, and basically killing myself, with anti-anxiety tablets, anti-sleeping tablets, and alcohol, So yeah, we shall continue. If our sexual energies are out for a while, the player with a capital P will let them be out. He will allow his desire to flow naturally. At those times, letting red ray remain silent and without sexual expression is the way to keep the energy flowing through red ray. We do not have to act sexually in order to have our red ray be open and happy. We simply need to accept the desires or lack of desires which our red ray offers us with a sense of their righteousness. Even complete celibacy is no hindrance to having an open red ray chakra. If the celibate seeker affirms and is at peace with his or her sexuality, the sexual instinct is bred into our very bones of each of us. Isn't that the truth? When all goes well with us and we come to that moment of sexual orgasm, we hopefully feel that immortal yes of James Joyce's Molly Bloom in his novel. Ulysses sounding through our inner thoughts and emotions. Ulysses? I don't know what that word is. Ulysses sounding through our inner thoughts and emotions, Ra says. Yeah, you see, this is why I'm not reading the Ra material, because Ra uses some very complex and unusual words to express the most direct means of communication, but he, she, they will use extremely complex and dense words. This is why I'm not even bothering to go there. I don't even think there's any point. I might read the Quo I might read the Quo material at some point, because that's a lot easier to understand, and it's much less dense language. You don't have to keep googling the words to find out what they mean. Anyway, Ra says, in the green ray activated being, there is the potential for a direct and simple analog of what you call or may call joy, the spiritual or metaphysical nature which exists in the intelligent energy. This is a great aid to comprehension of a truer nature of beingness. To the Confederation, the true nature of beingness is always the creator experiencing itself. To confirm the sacred worth of your sexuality is to open the red ray chakra and let the energy pour through. We need to affirm our physical sexuality. Readers, tighten your sphincters. Women, we just did a Kegel, squeezing the walls of our vaginas. Men, you have just squeezed the manhood from the inside. What was that not the beginning of a great feeling? Ladies and gentlemen, isn't that energy a grand asset to have in this life? Is it not a powerful thing to feel the pleasure of sexual contact? We need to realize that we are dealing with enormously powerful forces within ourselves as we work with the energy of sexuality. We are profoundly sexual creatures. The sexual drive is our basic to our human nature. Whether we are glad of it or not, our sex drive will fill our thoughts and emotions with colour and fire again and again throughout our lives. It is easy and, on one level, correct to call this energy basic lust. However, when we use this word lust, we are generally intending it judgmentally. And in this discussion of purely red ray sexuality, we specifically do not mean to invoke any judgments. At the basic level, we are not looking at the emotional viewpoint behind the feelings of desire. We are simply looking at this energy as it naturally arises. And as it naturally arises, we are told in the Bible, the Creator checked the system out and found that it was good. You see, we get brought up in a culture, especially in the West, especially if you're of a Christian or any of the Abrahamic religions, that sex is a bad thing. Sex outside of marriage is terrible and frowned upon, and lust is terrible and frowned upon. We need to break out of this, and we need to realize that sex is an incredible tool, and sexual emotions is a credible, incredible tool that we can use.